I saw you looking down. Oh, I just bit my tongue. Oh, man. Oh, it's always in the way. I hate this tongue. The blood. Just kidding. It's just paper. How we all doing today, guys and gals? I said, how we all doing today? Hey, I know you guys are in a small group. You don't want to say anything to me, but how are we all doing today? Excellent. Alrighty, guys and gals. So welcome to the Listening Center. So guys and gals, over here at the Listening Center, we're going to be reading The Split History of the American Revolution. Now, we're not going to be reading the same thing that we just read yesterday, but we do need to remember that. We do need to review it just slightly and have you have a short discussion. So I need you to have this book out with flipped over to the British side or the redcoat side, and also have your packet out with the computer/listening center page open. Alrighty. So guys and gals, today you're going to be watching this YouTube video. It's just going to be basically Mr. Cuppy, me, helping you guys out, reading along with you, and asking you some questions as we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and open up to page 4. Let's go ahead and open up our Split History of the American Revolution to page 4, please. Now, guys and gals, yesterday we read a little bit about dealing with the rebels and taxing the colonies. Go ahead and flip to page 6 and take a look at that map. And there was that proclamation of 1763. And, well, if you also have your timelines with you, guys and gals, those might be helpful for this next part. So, this is a previewing discussion. So, I'm going to have you discuss before we actually read again. So, we're going to go ahead and discuss. I'm going to have you discuss this question. I want you to discuss what King George III had been doing to the American colonists and why he decided to do that. That seems like a pretty vague question, a pretty open question. And it's supposed to be pretty vague and open. I want you guys and gals to go ahead and take one of you to pause the video right here and discuss it for about 1 minute. Everybody in the group needs to contribute at least one thought. And not just repeating what somebody else said. Add to it. Have a deep, rich discussion, guys and gals. So let's go ahead and pause the video right here and then go ahead and discuss for about a minute. Then come hit play and come join me. Welcome back, boys and girls. How we all doing? Okay, now we're going to open up to page 7, right where it says Boston Riot. So I hope that you guys and gals talked about how in 1768, all of a sudden, the British started sending over soldiers right into the city of Boston. I wonder what's going to happen. I want you to follow along as I read aloud. I might have one of you take over for me. Boston Riot. From the beginning, the British soldiers were met with hostility by many Boston residents. Soldiers were insulted or beaten on the streets. These actions angered the soldiers, who only wanted to be let alone to do their jobs. Some retaliated by harassing the colonists. On the night of March 5th, 1770, things came to a head. In front of the customs house, a crowd of people were yelling and throwing rocks, sticks, and icy snowballs at several soldiers. Someone yelled, "Fire!" which the soldiers took as an order, firing on the crowd. 5 Boston residents died, and 6 others were wounded. 8 soldiers and their captain, Thomas Preston, were arrested and tried for murder. Ironically, Patriot lawyers John Adams and Josiah Quincy Jr. represented the soldiers. Preston and 6 soldiers were acquitted. The 2 soldiers found guilty of manslaughter were branded on their thumbs and sent back to England. The verdict did little to ease the tension between the regulars and the colonists. So guys and gals, in just a second I'm going to ask you to pause your video. And I have 2 text-dependent discussion questions, guys and gals. They're right below on your page. These are discussion questions. I want you to discuss these questions for about 1 to 2 minutes per question. So, first one I have to ask you is, according to the text on page 7 and 8, what is the British perspective on how the Americans treated the English soldiers? And the second, why do you think patriot lawyers represented the British soldiers in court? Why do you think they would do that? I mean, aren't they against the British? Go ahead and pause the video right here and discuss for 2 to 3 minutes, and then come join me when you guys are all done. See you soon. Alrighty, welcome back, guys and gals. So we're going to go ahead and finish this off by reading page 9 and page 10. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read about something called Tea Act. How many of you out there have had tea? Okay, a couple of you. Well, guys and gals, tea back in the day was incredibly popular. I mean, everybody drank tea many times a day. It was just the drink to have. It's just what you did. So we're going to read about something called the Tea Act. I want to figure out what this King George, what he does. The Tea Act. Please be ready to follow along. As the American boycott went on, British merchants again demanded a repeal of taxes on the colonies. In 1770, King George's advisors met to discuss the issue. Some said Parliament should repeal all the taxes except one on tea. The king agreed. The repeal of the other taxes seemed to satisfy many Americans, and the colonies were mostly calm until 1773. That year, Parliament decided to help the East India Company, which imported tea from India to Great Britain. The Tea Act lowered the tax on tea and gave the company the sole right to sell tea in the colonies. British leaders thought the colonists would be happy with the act because it allowed them to pay much less for tea than they had previously. But many colonists saw it as an interference. Boston patriots responded by throwing several hundred crates of East India tea into the harbor, the ocean. The Boston Tea Party, as it was known, infuriated King George and Lord Frederick North, the Prime Minister. The two men agreed that Massachusetts had to be punished. George shut down Boston Harbor and limited local government power there. The king also sent more troops to Boston. The British called these and other measures the Coercive Acts. They were meant to coerce the colonists to obey the king and Parliament. To carry out the new laws and restore order, George named General Thomas Gage the governor of Massachusetts. Gage had served in America for many years and had an American wife. George trusted his view of the colonists. Gage believed the Americans would not respect the British if the king allowed the colonists to do what they wanted. The Coercive Acts, though, did not end the protests in America. The other colonies united behind Massachusetts, and all but Georgia sent delegates to the First Continental Congress in September 1774. The Congress stated that the colonies were still loyal to King George, but they opposed policies that denied them their freedom and rights. Back in Britain, merchants suffered as the Americans once again stopped buying their goods. But this time, King George refused to give in and repeal the laws. To him, the New England colonists were now rebels. Before long, all the Americans who challenged him would be. Dun, dun, dun! Alrighty, guys and gals. a lot happened with that Tea Act and the coercive acts, and a lot of anger with the king, and a lot of anger with those American colonists. They weren't getting along too well. Guys and gals, we just read about something really important. Now, we read about this from, I want you to keep in mind, we read about this from the English perspective, or the British perspective, about how they saw these acts. Next week, we're going to be exploring how the Americans felt about this. And it's going to be a little bit different. It's the same history, the same events happened, but people saw them from different sides. So they have different opinions or different viewpoints on it. Well, guys and gals, I'm going to give you the remainder of the time to finish up your text-dependent short answer question. Students must answer this question in 3 to 4 complete, well thought out sentences. So, here's your question. After reading the section on the Tea Act, and if you need to go back and read it again, please do so. What was the Boston Tea Party, and why did the Patriots do this? So, guys and gals, 3 to 4 complete, well thought out sentences. Take your time, do only your best, and you may go on ahead and begin. I need one of you to go ahead and restart the video from the very beginning so the next group is ready to go. And then go ahead and pause it. And everybody, take off your headphones, make them look nice and pretty, just like it did when you guys got there. All right, sound good? Sound good? All right, have a great day, guys. Keep on learning, keep on reading.